There's definitely one worn out pinion seal. Look at that. It's cracked up. It's missing chunks. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. We are doing the rear pinion seal on the 03 Durango today, and we are also going to pop my differential cover off, my rear differential cover off, and put the we're going to clean out the inside, because in the last video when we were at the junkyard, we did have a differential we were going to pull, and the junkyard ended up closing before we got done, and when we went back the next day it was gone. So, you know, we win some, you lose some. We did all that work for nothing. But we're gonna try and clean out my differential. Hopefully the gears are okay. We're gonna pop it open and check it out, and then we're gonna replace the seal that's spewing gear oil everywhere, which is the pinion seal, and we'll see if that fixes my problem, at least temporarily. I think at some point my differential is gonna have to get replaced. That's a given. But for now, this could be a temporary fix. The seal needs to get replaced, period. But cleaning out the inside of my differential may give us some time. So we shall see. We're gonna get into this video. My buddy Sean's coming over to help me out, like the last couple videos. Also, we may have a new vehicle coming to the channel in the near future. We shall see. There's, you know, I'll make a video about that once it comes, or once it happens, if it happens, but right now it's in the works, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, let's get into this video. Okay, so to do this, you need 2.5 quarts of the 75W140 gear oil. Okay, you can buy the gasket for this if you want, or you can get the gasket maker like I did in this video. But if you want to buy the gasket, here's the part for the gasket. Like I said, I just used the gasket maker for this video because I like using the gasket maker. But here you go. This is the gasket. Otherwise, your pinion seal and some RTV gasket maker. So we're currently working on jacking up the vehicle, and we're gonna show you once we get it all jacked up. So on your drive shaft, you're gonna want to mark it. So you put your drive shaft and your U-joint back in the same place as it was, because you want it exactly where it is. Okay, so we're gonna pull the rear differential off. The bolt is a 13. They go around. There's what, 12 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So your 12 rear differential, I guess they would be the differential cover. Yes, the cover bolt. So there's gonna be 12 of them. They're 13s. We're gonna pop those off and check my gears because I had some grinding. We know there's oil in it because we put gear oil in it the other day, but we're gonna see how bad the gearing is, and then we'll move on to doing the pinion seal in the front. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. We got 10 of the 12 bolts out. The top 2 are still in there. We're gonna crack the bottom open with a chisel or a pry bar just a little bit to let all the oil out before we remove the whole cover, because we don't want to make a bigger mess than we have to. So we're gonna just pop the bottom a little bit to let all the oil out, and then we're gonna take the 2 bolts off the top out then. Okay, so we got all the bolts out. Now we're prying it a little bit to try and get the cover off. Keep in mind, this line that goes across is one of your brake lines, your emergency brake line, or your...
Yeah, e-brake.
Yeah, so you don't want to break that line there. Alright, so you're going to want to work your way around, like around it, tapping it, because the gasket that's in there is going to be nice and smushed and holding it up tight, even without the bolts in there. So as you tap it out, you're gonna have to clean up this area, the surface area, really good. You don't have to do this when you do your pinion seal. We're just doing it to check my gearing in the back. So this is what inside your differential looks like.
That's the pinion gear.
See? And then we're going to clean this up to put the new gasket. This is the inside of the cover. So we're going to clean this whole guy up. And we're going to clean up the edge around there, put this back, and then we'll get to the pinion seal. Okay guys, so you have to clean it really, really good. If you have a wire wheel and a drill like this, you can do it like this. Just be very careful to get it nice and clean. And then we're going to spray it with some brake cleaner and wipe it off. Make sure it gets all nice and clean. You want a nice clean surface for when you put the new gasket. Okay, so here is your gasket maker. Okay, it's the high torque one. Rigid torque, high vibration applications, ideal for importing newer vehicles. This one is definitely older, but the differential is going to have a lot of vibration because that's where all the stuff is moving down there. So we're popping it open right now, and then you're going to have to let this cure.
Yeah, you gotta put it on.
You gotta put it on. Let's see, where's it go? For best surface to be clean and dry, cut nozzle, apply 1/16 to 1/4, 2 to 6 millimeter bead of silicone. So you're gonna go around the inner side, around all of these, and then around the inner. Okay.
You wanna do it?
I'm not really good at these things.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna let dry for 1 hour after you assemble it. It says assemble immediately while silicone is still wet. Finger tighten until material begins to squeeze out around flange. So once you see the material start coming out along the edge, and then allow 24 hours to fully cure before filling with fluids and returning to service. And then replace cap after use, obviously. But yeah, so we're gonna put this on here. I'll give you guys a view once it's all done, and then we'll install it, and then we gotta let it cure, so I won't be able to finish till tomorrow. Okay guys, so once you put your differential plate back on here, you're gonna torque it 30 psi. You're gonna go this one, this one, oh, this one, this one right here, and then this one, and then this one. You're gonna have to get a longer bit to torque this one down, because this is where your bracket goes. Your bracket goes over this one, like so. You're gonna torque that down, and then you're gonna come down here, and so on and so forth. You're gonna go across, 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 until you torque them all down to 30 psi, and you're gonna put your bracket back on, like so. And you have to let this cure for 24 hours. So you cannot put fluid in this for 24 hours. Now, I'm assuming here that 24-hour cure time is in a fair weather, right? It's not freezing weather.
Yeah.
So it may take a little bit longer in the freezing weather. Like right now, it's about 40 degrees here. So it might take 30 hours instead of 24 hours to cure. But you can tell by just, you see how it's squeezing out here on the sides. If 24 hours you come and you touch this and it's still like liquidy and sticks to your hand like that, it's not cured yet. If you come and touch it and it feels like rubber and it doesn't stick to your hand, you're fine. And then you'll put your fluid in here, right here, your gear oil. I'm going to show you that guy tomorrow when I put the gear oil in here. Yeah, then that's it. Make sure you torque your bolt down. These ones are all 13s, and the little bracket one here is an 11 that goes here on the outside. Okay guys, so once you go to take your drive shaft off, there's a bolt here, and 2 bolts on the opposite side across from these. They're 15 millimeters. You're gonna have to break them loose. I put a jack stand here underneath my drive shaft, so once this disconnects, this doesn't like totally drop and rip out of the other end. It shouldn't rip out of the other end, just saying, but just just in case, we're putting the jack stand here, and then we're gonna string it up with a bungee cord somewhere, or try to. We'll see. But for right now, 15 millimeter, you want to break these bolts loose. Okay guys, I'm going to mention this because we did it. If you can't get the 1 bolt on the drive shaft, if you jack up your rear wheels, here I'll show you. Stick your jack underneath your differential like this. Jack it up so your rear wheels are not on the ground. So you got a gap. You don't need to be high off the ground. And then block up your wheels. You can use spare tire, a tire chalk if you have one, a piece of wood, or giant rock, whatever. Get in your Durango, turn the key to the on position, but don't start it. Put your foot on the brake and put it in neutral, and then let your foot off the brake. You will then be able to spin the drive shaft by hand to get the bolts to rotate so you can get to the other bolt. And then you're gonna have to rotate it back after you break the bolt because of where you put the line on your drive shaft, so you make sure everything's lined up. Okay, once your drive shaft comes down, you can bungee it up, but we're on the ground, so I'm just gonna let it sit there. Right in that center there, hang on, let me see if I can get closer. Right here is this nut. It's a 32 millimeter. You want to measure or mark off exactly where it was on here, okay? Because it has to go back to the exact same spot. And then this next part, you need to get a bearing puller, or you think you can do this with a pry bar?
Probably not.
Okay, so bearing puller. I'll show you the bearing puller. So this is the bearing puller, this guy right here. They rent them at your local auto parts store specifically for this. If you tell them what you're pulling, they'll give you the right one. And then we'll show you how it looks when it gets on there. Okay, so when you put the bearing puller on, it's got the three prongs. They're gonna go around this like this, and there's gonna be the spline that comes up through the middle. You're gonna put the black center on the tip of the spline and put the three prongs around like this, and then ratchet it down. It's gonna push the spline back and pull this forward, and that'll pop this out for you guys. I'll get you guys a shot from underneath in just a second here. So here's the busted one. You can see it's cracked right here on the inside. It's supposed to be covered all the way around, and it's all dirty. Here's the new one.
Put them.
It looks exactly the same.
We'll put them side by side. You know what I mean? Make sure that the measurements are like put them right on top of each other.
I was gonna.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they look exactly the same. All right, that works for me. So we can stick this guy in there. I'll show you guys what that looks like underneath. Try and get a good shot.
Well, let me get a paper towel to clean that up.
Oh, there's the spline I was talking about when you put your puller. So the center of your puller is going to go on that spline. The other one's going to go around the bearing. And then your pinion seal sits right in here, and the lip comes just above here. So you're able to pry it out with a flathead screwdriver. You just got to go around it slowly, all the way around. Pop it out. Remember which way it comes out. You're going to pop the new one in. Okay, so once you put the new pinion seal in, guys, you want to put some gear oil on it. Give it a nice coating of gear oil and tap it in, okay? We just took a little rubber, like a plastic little, it was almost like a toothbrush, and a rubber mount, and just tapped it all the way around to get it right where it needed to go. When you pop the new one in, you want to make sure you press it all the way in, and then you go in reverse. You put the bearing back on, you press it back in, and then you put your drive shaft back on right where your marking is. See, here's our marking, so the marking with your drive shaft right here and right here should match up. And then I'll show you guys what it looks like when we start putting everything back together. Put the bearing back on top, press the bearing back in, reconnect your drive shaft. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like in just a second. Down here, it's really, really cold out here, and it's getting dark at 4 o'clock. Shit, it's ridiculous.
It's almost 6.
Okay guys, so once you get done, it should be back together like this. Whole thing, all the bolts, torque them down. I'll put the specs on the screen for the torques. And then let's go to the rear diff. Okay guys, so here we are. It's been about 2 days since we did the last clip with the putting the pinion seal in and the differential and stuff. Because it's been pretty cold, you can see my breath. I gave it 2 full days to cure. I came out and checked it a couple minutes ago, and I think it should be fine. We're gonna put the fluid in, the gear oil in the differential. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that, and then we'll be taking it for a test drive, hoping it doesn't leak, making sure everything is fine. And let's go underneath and I'll show you how to put the gear oil. Okay, so right here, this black circle is your fill hole, and it's just a little rubber. Just a little rubber guy. You should be able to get behind it. And pop it out. If not, you could probably get like a pair of needle nose or something behind it, like so, and just kind of pop it out. You want to be careful not to damage it. It is going to be a tight fit. So let me pop this out and then I will show you. So now you're going to want to take this black top off. And if you spin the lid, underneath is a little white seal. You have to pull the seal off. And underneath here, you have to cut the tip underneath the black cap so that you can pour it into your differential. But 2.5 of these guys and you should be good to go. So once you pop it out, it'll look like this. You don't want to get any dirt on the end, so make sure you put it down so it won't get any dirt. You're gonna take your gear oil and stick it in the hole. Okay, and then you fill it up until it starts to leak out of the hole on the top here. Like, it'll start to leak out at the bottom of this hole. Alright, so I'll show you when this is all in. Okay, so I put about half of this in. Now is the time where you would check for leaks. Okay, you make sure none of this is leaking out anywhere along the seals. It should be enough to coat the bottom here. So as long as you're not leaking and no oil dripping, you're good to keep going. See, and once it starts to drip out like this, it's full. You take your little plunger, shove it back in there, nice and tight, and then you can wipe off the gear oil if you want. Now you can go and start your vehicle, and I would let it, sit for a minute before you start your car. But start your car and then take it for, or start your Durango, take it for a test drive, and make sure everything sounds fine. You're not making any grinding noises, anything like that, because you don't want any of those noises to be happening back here. So here we go, moment of truth. We're taking it for a little test drive. She's running, she's moving. No sounds yet, but we didn't even leave the lot yet. So, like I said, you're gonna want to take it for, maybe a 5-minute drive, 10-minute drive, and make sure you ain't got no noises or anything. 5 or 10 minutes should be fine. Get it up to full operating temp. Make sure everything's moving and stuff. You don't want any noises. It's still pretty cold out here. I don't know if you can see my breath or not, but give it a little bit of gas, get the fluids moving and stuff, and see what happens. So I'll catch you guys in a minute once we get the full operating temp and everything. Okay guys, so that's it. We took it for a little test drive. We still got no noises, no issues, none of that. It's still cold as hell. I don't know if you guys can see my breath or not in the video, but it is still cold as hell out here. Now, once you get back to your home base or wherever you did your you know, wherever you're gonna park your Durango for a little bit, you want to get back out and check and make sure you're not leaking from anywhere. Make sure you're not dripping oil anywhere, or burning oil anywhere, or, you know, spewing out, because you did replace the pinion seal, so you don't want it to be shooting gear oil out anywhere. Okay guys, we are all good to go. The Durango is done. It is finished. It's not making any more noise now, so now I can start driving her again. Yeah, social media is all down below for you guys to go check out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Apparently 98% of you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, which is nuts. It's free. Just hit the little subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Good vibes, good crew.